Hi, my name is Robert Newman. I'm the founder of Inbound Real Estate Marketing. We have a website called InboundREM.com. And I am about ready to review service pricing and website options for InboundREM. As a matter of fact, what you're looking at on the screen is an example of our work. Before we get started, I want to let you know that this video is one of a series of videos comparing the top 10 companies that are making real estate websites. Currently, it's 2020. I've done these videos from 2017 to current. You might be watching this video a few years later. I only update these videos as the service and pricing options change to the degree that the video's information is out of date. So some of the videos are more current than others. Based on how often those real estate marketing companies are actually significantly updating their services or their designs or the technology they're building real estate websites on. So let's jump right into it. So first of all, InboundREM builds inbound marketing sites. Okay, we're a real estate lead generation company, which means that the objective of all of our projects is ultimately to gain high quality leads for our clients. There's many companies out there that do real estate lead generation, but almost all of them focus on a very different way of driving traffic, and the result of these efforts is a much lower quality lead. And I'll explain that as I walk you through our product. So what you're looking at is a website that the consumer owns, which makes us different right off the bat. None of the big real estate website companies out there offer you ownership except for Agent Image. And there's a very long list. All 18 other of the people on my list don't allow you to own the website. So I'm just making it simple. A couple of big names that you probably would have questions about would be Real Estate Webmasters, Sierra Interactive, Real Geeks. None of these offerings allow you ownership of the site, which is extremely important in my opinion, which is why I do. What we do is we build a highly customized experience that is supposed to steer the prospective client through more of an information gathering process. Most of my competitors focus on a search experience. We focus on a deeply informational website with a lot of custom maps, custom pages. When we build the website, which we do for somewhere between $2,500 and $3,500 in most cases, with brokers and small teams that can be $3,500 up to $5,500. But when we're building a site, so you saw that was a custom map that was interactive. We have a knowledge center that we're building with each one of these websites that's interactive. We've done 3 or 4 things that's proprietary to us. There's nobody else out there that you could find that's, even though some of my competitors build on WordPress, which is a content management system. For those that don't understand what that is, a lot of the things that you're looking at are made possible because of WordPress. These cool little iconography over here, or actually, sorry, that's like a call out box. When you go to the home page, there's neat iconography on some of my buttons and such. And all of these things are made possible because WordPress powers 22% of the websites in the world. Another thing about WordPress is that since you own the site and you take it with you, it would be very easy to modify and adapt should you choose to. While I've made a custom stack, which is what you're looking at, custom stack, which I've just realized is probably confusing language. WordPress starts off the same way for everybody. But you can modify it, you can adapt it, you can create your own what are called plugins. That's just little pieces of functionality that you then adapt WordPress to, which is one of the things that makes it such an incredibly strong platform, is they've made it very easy for developers like me to come in and then make functionality that's specific to you, in this case, real estate. And I've done that. Got communities pages clearly labeled, an IDX broker plugin that allows you to see what your leads are doing once they're logged in. And I think the most impressive thing that we've done that is really only native to WordPress is we've built a drag and drop editor. So we could change or modify these pages in 5 or 10 minutes, what would take most of my competitors 10 or 15 hours, which means that it's a highly adaptable platform. Most of my clients haven't quite gotten to the point that they're using it like that, but what we do use this for every day is when we get calls to change pages, calls to service requirements. I'm able to do with one team member what most of my competitors need 10 people to do. We just run in and make changes. It's unbelievably simple. I could change any of these elements in under 2 minutes. So service requests are fulfilled very fast and usually for free, which is not something that any of my competitors offer. And you can see these pages. They have information that's similar to my competitors, so I don't feel like this necessarily is different, but I would say it's as good as anybody else's. What we focus on are elements that none of my other competitors focus on, which is kind of like, this is the #1 searched page here. And we have an integration with Google Maps. And all of these pages that you're looking at, we build with the website and then hand the keys over to you. So you own all of this information, you own the website, you own these maps. And on Google Maps, this is a plugin. It's hard to explain. You're just going to have to take my word for it. But we've put this entire thing on Google. We're getting 2 sources of traffic from it. It's had 1,720 views so far on a website that's 6 months old. And those views are coming from Google. When you create something that's really custom like this, Google will sometimes decide to serve it up in their hyperlocal search results, which gives us a whole nother source of traffic, which first, in order to generate leads, we need eyeballs, and then we need traffic. Once you're down here using this, you'll notice that the experience changes a lot. There's a lot of people that encourage their clients to put YouTube videos on neighborhood pages. Nobody's integrated them into a seamless experience like this one, where you bounce over to the video, and then you're gonna go down here, and most of the time somebody goes to the neighborhood page. The interesting thing about creating these videos is it's actually a whole nother source of leads. And without getting into too much, as an inbound marketing company, we actually optimize and customize these videos for our clients. So we've got one of 2 things we do. We either produce them ourselves, but the highest conversion and the best results come from when the client puts themselves somewhere in the video. So we've got 2 choices. We either coach our clients in going out and doing the videos themselves, or B, we teach them how to do it from their desk, or C, we do it ourselves. One way or the other, video is integrated into all of our sites, which improves 2 things. It gets you results close to 6 months faster than you normally would with SEO. It adds on another lead source from YouTube, and it increases your conversion rate and lead quality tremendously. I would say that right now the case studies that I'm running are saying that with an inbound marketing site properly built, the leads are usually anywhere from 400 to 600% better than a lead that, let's say, is generated off another kind of website. So I'm going to bounce over to those really quick. These are examples of Sierra Interactive, Real Estate Webmasters. These sites are search sites. That's what they do. They do occasionally have information on neighborhoods. They will generate you leads. These are my 2 competitors that actually do SEO fairly well, or at least they can. Usually with Sierra Interactive, you actually need to hire an outside company to do the SEO for you. With Real Estate Webmasters, typically speaking, they've built such a good website that if you spend even, let's call it 20 or 30 hours learning how to use it, you will usually get results. In terms of one website that does everything, Real Estate Webmasters is a very good comparison to InboundREM. The vast difference is that we're going to constantly be focusing on getting higher quality leads, changing the user experience so that people are getting more information in the front part of a search. And you can see here, this is the first 6 months of this site. This is very technical, and I'm going to keep it very brief. The reason I'm throwing it up here is about 1 out of every 100 people that watches this video is going to be somebody technical or somebody that has a lot of experience, and they're going to know how impressive these numbers are. Right now, it's in the middle of the COVID, COVID-19 thing, and we watched session duration drop a little bit. But for the most part, our bounce rate, our session duration, even at the dropped point, this holds up against any real estate website that's out there. And without the COVID, this site was running at about a 4-minute on average hang time. in terms of how long people were on the website, which is so far beyond what most of my competitors can offer at any level that it's not even worth going through the list. So the other things that this site does, InboundREM, is we do zip code maps. Like I said, we're customizing 30 to 60 pages, so we're doing neighborhood pages that range depending on the product type. So we have 3 tiers of products. We just call them tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. All the websites look the same. You're not getting a worse looking website when you purchase a site. You're getting something that looks like this. But you'll have a website with less landing pages or less zip codes that you target, depending on the tier. And the tiers range in price. So tiers 1 is 2,500, tier 2 is 3,000, tiers 3 is 3,500, and that's in 2020. And the pricing will be good until the end of 2020, and then we may take a look at it again. These zip code maps are for 2 reasons. Most people search by zip code, so actually we're targeting a lot of search using these zip code maps. We're literally targeting these keywords, so it's a whole section of traffic that we're targeting. And I'm going to back out. I'm going to show you all of the sites that I track, which is just like 10 out of about 100 that we've produced. And you can see here, this is one of the top producing pages. And you can also quickly see how these are all pages that are designed for SEO. These are the keywords, the kind of keywords that we're targeting. So these zip code maps that we're targeting do 2 things. One, they do the, just actually give me a second. They have the value for SEO. And for those of my clients that are deciding to drive PPC in and get leads right away, these sites will convert at the very high levels that I'm mentioning right out of the box. It just depends on what your budget is and how fast you're looking for results. But the thing about these sites is they will start to produce ever increasing results from SEO as well as PPC, unlike most of my competitors. These sites will do both simultaneously. So that makes us very different. And we'll use these pages to drive as landing pages for PPC campaigns. And I understand that I've probably lost a lot of you. But once again, probably about 10 out of my 100 people that view this video are going to understand clearly what I'm saying, and that you don't have to spend any extra money on landing pages when you buy one of these sites. Your cost per click, your acquisition for a client, should you do PPC, is going to be much, much lower than other platforms because we have incredibly well-designed, rock-solid. I'll just show you. So the URL is perfect for AdWords, the page title, and then of course you get a custom map the second that you drop into the page, which makes it, I'm not going to say that nobody's done this, but very few real estate websites that you're going to see. And it's going to deliver to you with a minorly, I set this up for my clients. So listen, it makes with relatively low effort conversions rates like this extremely high. It's just an extraordinarily efficient way to do pay-per-click, and you'll end up spending less and getting more from those kinds of efforts. Last but not least, our conversion rate is about 1.5. Here's an example of the search categories, the search buckets. This is a fairly new website. It's about 6 months in. All these 4 buckets are the more organic streams of traffic. This is paid search, and we've had about 27 leads right in the middle of the COVID crisis. Before that, we were actually running an even higher conversion rate, and I would have been saying that our conversion rate was more like 2 or 3%, but that's not what it's at right now, so that's not what I'm going to say, but you can kind of see, here's some examples. So I'm going to blur these out, and I'm not going to spend much time on them because it's a pain in the ass to blur things out, but and then just one little thing here. These are just like all of these accounts. The first 2 are not real estate, and then all the rest of these are real estate accounts. And you can kind of see that organic traffic, keywords, pretty much every account is just increasing to various degrees. The last piece that I want to show you is this account down here, which is experiencing what I like to call like a sweet spot growth. So what we're doing is our competitors like Boomtown, Bold Leads, people who are other real estate lead generation, all have charges that like service charges per month. CINC is $1,000. Boomtown is 1,500, 1,250 to 1,500. Bold Leads is 300. Conversion is 300 up to 600. Each one of these guys is charging you money to access their back-end technology. They'll call them CRMs, they'll call them lead management systems. Boomtown gives you a team lead, like somebody to communicate with that manages your leads and such. That's not what we do. What we do is we're doing ongoing SEO work. That is blog posts, that is backlinking and social media promotion. So we have a charge that ranges from $600 to $1,500 a month for agents and small teams, and for brokers, it starts at $2,000 a month, which includes your PPC and your actually, it also includes the setup of a platform that I'm going to show you for back-end high volume lead generation. The thing about our services is that we're not usually focused on talking about CRMs because our leads, you should be able to close about 1 in 15 as opposed to 1 in 100, which is what the numbers are for most Facebook marketing campaign type sites. So at least that's the numbers right now when I'm giving you that math. The case studies are going to change as the market changes, and I will probably have other channels or other videos where I'm talking about whatever the updated numbers are, but that's currently what the numbers really are. Somewhere between 50 and 100 is what you're going to get in terms of how hard you have to chase these leads. And you don't have to chase ours that hard. So if we're giving you 30, 40 a month, you should be able to manage them either off a rudimentary CRM like LionDesk or straight out of your IDX broker dashboard, which I already showed you previous in that little teeny tiny vignette that I just did. But what we do long term for SEO is this. So we do Atlanta closing cost. I just showed you how that site, actually all of our sites are ranking, but this one's especially impressive. And of course, I'm going to use a good example. So we're doing Atlanta, Georgia closing costs, and the first thing that comes up is a blog post that we wrote and promoted for one of our clients. And there's many other blog posts on the site that are driving traffic. This is driving a lot of traffic. That's the difference, which is then leads me into my last little piece of the presentation, which is designed towards brokers and small teams. So let's say you are a broker in your small team and you're reviewing this video to, or that you're thinking of growing into a team. How would InboundREM serve you? Well, at that point, we're gonna connect you into Follow Up Boss. The trick to being a broker in a small team with our service is we're really not going to take on clients who are not ready for these huge back-end tools, which is what a lot of our competitors do. They don't really qualify you too carefully about, are you going to be able to use the technology once you buy it? So we're gonna set you the technology up for you. So what does a good back-end CRM tool do? And Boomtown and some of these services don't even do all the things that I'm going to list, but the one that we use, Follow Up Boss, does. So does it text leads for you? Does it give you an easy interaction? Does it show you what the leads are doing on your website? Does it send you notifications if the lead has visited or done something specific on the website? The answer to that is Boomtown does that very well. They're probably one of the best team CRMs that's out there. You know, connecting into each one of your people and letting them know if somebody's looked at their listing. That's a little bit more specific than what Follow Up Boss does. However, like I said, you're paying $1,200 to $1,500 to get that act, like to get connected into that, and you're absolutely not buying any marketing for that. So really big, really established teams might look at that and go, oh, okay, no problem, we'll pay that money. But smaller teams who are trying to build their business should probably not be starting there. So this is an example of, and I'm gonna have to blur some of this out and I don't know what, but this is visited website. So these are leads that are generated off another source in Follow Up Boss. And then going to the website and then bouncing back to, back to the agent. And then here, you can kind of see in this category, anything that says IDX broker, we've generated for the client. And so anything that says Ylopo is somebody else, but Ylopo is using social marketing. And these numbers are holding true. About 1 out of every 50 of these will close, and about 1 out of every 50 of ours. So even though you're seeing Ylopo a lot more often, these IDX broker leads are going to get focused on a lot more because they tend to be higher quality, significantly higher quality. So they're going to get really focused on. So there you go. You can kind of see how Follow Up Boss combines all your lead sources into one place. And there's a lot more to go into there, and I'm not going to do it in this video. I'm going to have other videos available if you want to see what the functionality of Follow Up Boss is. I'm just going to say that we have like a best-in-class solution for real estate brokers and teams, one in which provides a whole lead source that Boomtown won't even provide at all. Like, you're not going to get SEO leads if you go off Boomtown. You're always going to get these lower quality PPC leads. My advice for really big teams is usually you should have an SEO-driven inbound marketing site, and you should maintain your high-end lead generating site. And if we want to, we can import leads into that tool as opposed to using a follow-up boss. So there's solutions available for really big teams that might be looking to dip their toe into multiple ponds in terms of the way they're generating those leads. And I can't emphasize enough, it is a complete waste of resources not to be focusing on the higher quality inbound based leads where you're providing a lot more information through a website experience, where you've got video and interactive maps, and you're giving exhaustive details on neighborhoods and all of that good stuff that goes outside of a search experience, along with incredibly strong blog posts that are talking about two separate things, transactional and lifestyle, because that's absolutely positively, you want something dialed seamlessly into your site. What are the top restaurants? What are the property tax raises? What are the closing costs? These are incredibly important questions that you want somebody coming to your destination site that focuses on the area or areas that you serve, and you don't want them going someplace else. You don't want them looking at that information, because if you build a relationship through the quality of your information, you will absolutely get the inquiry when it's time for them to be buying or selling a piece of property. And that's it, guys. That's my review of InboundREM. I think I've covered everything. Pricing, service. It usually takes us between 3 to 6 weeks to build a website. We only take on 2 clients per territory, so you do have to reach out and set an appointment with me to find out what availability is. All right, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below.